From America's farm to fork capital and some of the richest farmland in the world, it's time for What's in Season with Michael Marks.
Well, welcome to What's in Season with Michael Marks. What a great show we have for you today. Oh my gosh, it's time for hard winter squash. So we're going to talk about hard winter squash. We're starting to see it in the stores and in the markets. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Plus the doctor is in the house today. This is National Diabetes Awareness Month. So how can we have our nutrition help us prevent diabetes? So we're going to talk to the doctor about that. Plus, Mandy Bottoms is here from Ag in the Classroom. Oh my goodness, we've got Thanksgiving dinner in a glove. Wait till you see this, just for kids. And for our recipe this month, you all love apple pie, right? For the holidays, Thanksgiving and the holidays. Well, I'm going to make an appetizer that tastes exactly like apple pie, but there's no apples in it. I can't wait to show that to you. So let's get started with hard winter squash. A couple things about hard winter squash that you first need to remember is we can find hard winter squash year round, right? It's 365 days out of the year. So why should we eat more hard winter squash in the winter time? There's a couple reasons why. Number one is because hard winter squash has a few more calories than things like zucchini, summer squash, and yellow squash. So it has more calories. What do our bodies need in the winter time? Yeah, we need to stay warm. So we need a few more calories to help us stay warm. Number two, all the hard winter squash loaded with vitamin A. Now, what do our eyes need in the wintertime? That's right, there's less sunlight, there's more nighttime hours, so our eyes need to see better. So all the hard winter squash has a lot more vitamin A in it. So that's really good for our eyes. So that's the reason why. Now, I don't mind if you eat hard winter squash in the summer. That's totally fine with me. I am not the hard winter squash police. But we should eat more hard winter squash in the winter. So look at this hard winter squash here. Oh my goodness, I just brought 5 different varieties. There's so many different varieties. Let me just show you these. This is when I first started in the produce industry. This was primarily the hard winter squash section 50 years ago. This is what I sold. It's called acorn squash or Danish squash, but that was the number one squash that we sold. And then along came Frida's Finest. Along came the spaghetti squash, and it was Frida Kaplan who named it spaghetti squash because when you cook it and then you take a fork and you scrape it, it just looks like pasta. It looks exactly like spaghetti. One of the great ways you can serve this, just get out some pasta sauce. Your kids will love it, right? Very, very simple. So you can get them to eat spaghetti squash. And then along came butternut squash, which has become, oh my goodness, so popular with chefs all around the country. They love butternut squash, primarily because it's really easy to use. It's not really difficult to get into. In fact, you can take your vegetable peeler and just peel the skin off of it. It's that simple. You can make soup, ravioli. There's so much you can do with butternut squash. This is called kabocha squash. Kabocha is, that's Japanese for honey. That should tell you something. If a squash is named honey squash, do you think it's sweet? Yes, indeed it is. They're one of the most popular squash you'll find in Japan, a kabocha squash. And one of my favorites right here. Oh my goodness, this is called, I love delicata squash. This almost has a little corn flavor to it. Very, very cool. And one of the other things I love about this, the skin is totally edible as well. So when you roast this and slice it into rings or however you're going to serve it, the skin is edible. You don't have to peel it. So that's really cool. Now, since I have you down here with delicata, one of the ways you pick out delicata squash, it always starts with these green grooves in here. All these green grooves. And as it ripens, they turn orange. That's how you know when that's going to be a nice, sweet, delicata squash. The same thing is true on your kabocha squash. When you see this orange on the kabocha squash, just like this, that tells me that that's very mature. One of the things I look for on acorn squash is I try to find that belly, that orange belly on it. Uh-oh, it's not here. What I look for is that orange belly on it, so I know it's going to be more mature and have much more flavor. But if you don't have that, this is still going to be good. So where in the world do you store your hard winter squash? Do you store them in the refrigerator? Never in a million years should you put them in the refrigerator, please. That is hard squash abuse. You don't want that. What happens, it loses its flavor in the refrigerator. So don't do that. Just keep them out on the counter. Look at all the shapes and sizes and colors. It's perfect for fall decorations, right? So just keep them out on the countertop. How do you get into a hard winter squash? Oh my goodness. That's the difficult part, right? So get out your rubber mallet. Get out your biggest knife that you have. Here's what we're going to do with this hard winter squash to get into it. First of all, we're going to cut off a little slice just like that. Got that? That's so it sits stable on the countertop. Sits stable. Now we're going to take our rubber mallet, put this right in the middle like here, and now we're going to, there, we can go right through it. It's so hard to get into. It's hard winter squash, right? So if you try to use your knife, you may cut yourself. So I don't want you to do that. So just use a rubber, there, look, you just got into it. Oh my goodness, so much you can do with this. The same thing, and by the way, when you bake it, always bake them upside down, the cut side down in the baking dish. That's when they're gonna cook up the best. Well, coming up, oh my goodness, we have so much more fun for you. And the doctor's in the house talking about diabetes and nutrition. Well, I hope you're all planning your holiday meals, and probably one of those items is going to be a sweet potato. Or is this a sweet potato? Okay, so what's the difference between this and this? Okay, back in the early 1900s, this was the sweet potato. This is what we called sweet potatoes. The varietal name was a Jersey sweet potato, grown in North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, Texas. But this was a sweet potato. And then the early 1900s, a professor at the Louisiana State University said, I'm going to make a sweet potato that actually is sweet. And I'm going to make a sweet potato that actually has some color to it. This has no color, right? So he created what we call a yam. That's what he calls a yam. Now, all yams are a sweet potato. It's a variety of sweet potatoes. Not all sweet potatoes are yams, but all yams are sweet potatoes. Are you confused now? Okay, I'm glad we got that all covered. Hey, let's talk about the holidays coming up and your menu for the holidays. I thought I'd talk to you about try something new for the holidays. Right? We all get green beans and mashed potatoes, and we have the sweet potatoes, and just that's very normal. So what are some things we can try at the holiday times? Well, here's one. I love this. This is called broccolini. Sometimes marketed as baby broccoli as well. But I love broccolini because it's 100% edible. It is so easy to cook. Any way that you cook asparagus, you cook broccolini. Any way that you cook green beans, you can cook broccolini. You've got the oven on, you got that double oven going, you got room in the oven. Yeah, just put this on a baking sheet, a little bit of olive oil. You can bake it with everything else. Comes out so good. So broccolini, what a great side dish. I love it. It's just fantastic. And it's sweet and so good. Here's another thing. Before there were potatoes, what did people put next to their roast beef or their turkey? Yeah, they put these. They put root vegetables, things like carrots and parsnips and rutabagas and turnips and the beautiful beets, gold beets, red beets. You can roast those so easy. Again, you got the oven on. Just cut them into cubes, nice 1-2 inch cubes. Throw them in the oven with all of your other stuff that's in the oven, and so easy. This was what was next to your beef before potatoes came along. Speaking of potatoes, everybody loves mashed potatoes, right? May I suggest something new? How about fingerling potatoes? They look gorgeous, right? They have all of these cool shapes, all these different colors. And by the way, don't cut them. Just cook them whole, just like this, because it's so elegant on a plate. When you have a few of these beautiful fingerling potatoes, oh my goodness, it looks so elegant on a plate. It classes up, it levels up your Thanksgiving or Christmas meal, right? And then finally, how about an appetizer? Hey, let's take this portobello mushroom and turn it into an appetizer. So you take out the innards of it, you take out the gills, you take off this is actually called, let me show you something. This is actually called de-stumping the mushroom. I just de-stumped the mushroom. Take out the gills and you can fill it with whatever you want. Rice, sausage, some cheese, anything you want can go in there. So good. So try a few new things for your holiday meals. Coming up, we're gonna have Mandy Bottoms, Ag in the Classroom. Guess what? Thanksgiving meal in a glove. Don't go away. The eagle is selected as the national bird despite George Washington and Benjamin Franklin urging for the courageous turkey. Where am I reading this? It's called Presidential Turkey Activity Guide. This comes from Ag in the Classroom. What else can we learn in here? Oh, did you know? Male turkeys are called toms. And they are the only turkeys that gobble. And female turkeys are hens, and they communicate with a clicking noise. Very cool things from Ag in the Classroom. And with us today from Ag in the Classroom, Mandy Bottoms, thank you for being here today. And you are, this is so cool. This is a Thanksgiving dinner in a glove. What in the world are you doing, Mandy? Tell us what we're doing here.
Well, it's a science experiment for kids.
Okay.
So they get to plant some of the vegetables we all enjoy for Thanksgiving dinner, and they actually plant it in a glove, which the joy of planting in a glove is they can actually watch the roots develop as the plant grows. So it's really not to start your transplants for a winter garden, but it's a great science experiment, and I'll show you how we can do it.
Okay,
So
this is so cool.
Very simple materials. All you need are some cotton balls, some seeds, and some water. And I used a spray bottle so we can control that a little bit better. So what you're gonna do is you take your cotton ball, you fluff it up just a little bit.
Official term from Mandy, fluff it up.
And then you want it to be damp and not too wet. And then I have a variety of different seeds. So one of the vegetables that we always have at Thanksgiving dinner are green beans. So we have a green bean seed here. I'm gonna put it right in the middle. And as they're doing this, you can tell them that green beans are grown in California, and we actually produce almost all fresh market green beans.
Yes, we do.
So it's different than other states that might produce the canned stuff. We produce the fresh stuff here. I think 95% of what we grow is fresh. So
Texas grows a little bit, and Florida grows a little bit, but California produces the vast majority.
yeah. So it's right here, and then we'll just repeat it again. Let's see.
Green bean in the thumb.
Green bean is here.
That's called a green thumb.
There you go. And then we have pumpkin seed. So
Ooh.
I love pumpkin in soups and sauces around the Thanksgiving holiday. And we'll put
So
that
when they
down.
cut their pumpkins, save the seeds, dry the seeds, and they can regrow them.
You absolutely can. Let's see, we have some teeny tiny seeds coming up here. So let's see, I think these are our lettuce seeds. So I just got a couple on my finger here, and I'm gonna, now when your child is doing this, they don't wanna just stick it in like this with the seeds showing. They actually wanna just, fold it up really lightly so that they can be covered, but they can also still grow. So we'll put that in there. And California actually is still producing lettuce around
Oh my goodness.
Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes, we do.
But shortly after Thanksgiving, it moves to other parts of the country.
Yuma,
where
Arizona, down there, yeah.
Yeah, so. And then we have carrots.
Oh, I love carrots.
And California produces 80% of the nation's carrots, so quite a few. So we'll put some carrot seeds and fold them up in there.
When I first got into the produce industry, 50 years ago, half a century ago, the only carrots we sold were carrots in a bunch with the tops on. That's the only carrots we sold 50
I don't know
years
if my
ago.
kids have ever had a carrot like that.
Yeah, they love the whole peeled mini carrots
That's
now.
right.
That's taken over the carrot section.
That's right. And then the last thing we have is zucchini.
Ooh,
and we'll
yeah.
fold that up and stick it in. And then they're almost done. The last thing they're going to do is, so they're going to tape it to a window. So you don't want to tape it closed because that will...
A window that gets sunlight.
A window that gets sunlight.
Don't put it on a window.
No, and don't close it because it will be a science experiment on mold growth instead of plant growth. So they want to tape it in a warm, sunny window with the open just on the back there. And then as they grow, they will actually start coming up the fingers and out the top of the glove. So it's a
That is so
really
cool.
fun science
How long
experiment.
does it take these to germinate
It
usually?
depends on the seed variety. Like lettuce should germinate pretty quickly. I'd
15,
say
20 days.
Yeah, 1 to 2 weeks. And then some of the other things like pumpkin, you might see it a little bit longer. So very fun science experiment. And as it's growing, you can talk about how California produces all of these vegetables that we enjoy during Thanksgiving.
What a fun science experiment. I love that thing for our kids or grandkids. That is fantastic. Tell us a little bit about Ag in the Classroom. We have so many new viewers with us, and they probably have never heard of Ag in the Classroom.
Ag in the Classroom is a nonprofit foundation, and we've been around for 40 plus years. And our whole goal is to help teachers, parents, any kind of educator teach their kids about where their food and fiber comes from. So we offer free resources, trainings, grants, lots of opportunities at learnaboutag.org.
Oh, thank you. And you know, California, this is agriculture center for America. We grow half of everything America eats right here in California. Thanks for being with us, Mandy. Coming up, yep, the doctor's in the house, and we're going to talk about diabetes and how your nutrition can help you stave off diabetes. Don't go away. Well, Diabetes Month is November, Diabetes Awareness Month. So I thought I'd bring a plate here real quickly because I wanted to show you that half of your plate, every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, half of your plate should be non-starchy vegetables. If you have diabetes, you better live by this. If you don't have diabetes, you better live by this so you don't get diabetes. So the doctor is in the house, Dr. Chelsea Azarkan. Diabetes, man, it's just become an epidemic.
Yeah, you know, we all know somebody with diabetes, but one thing I think we forget is that diabetes kills people. It is in the top 8 causes of death in the United States.
No way.
And it's preventable.
Preventable.
Yeah.
By what, usually?
Well, by watching diet is a big one. So what happens with diabetes is we have too much sugar in our bloodstream, and our body wants to get that out of the bloodstream, and usually that should be used to make energy. But when we are eating too much sugar, we're eating too much food in general.
Like processed sugar.
Processed
right?
sugar, exactly.
That's an enemy.
And processed foods in general. Our body is going to spike that glucose faster than we can get it into the cells. And usually what helps it get into the cells is a hormone called insulin. And when we don't get the glucose cleared fast enough, it makes insulin work less efficiently in the long run. So we just have too much glucose in our blood overall. And we want to be thinking about how to manage that when we're talking about diabetes.
Okay, so millions and millions of people here in California, here around the United States, have diabetes, or even what they call pre-diabetes now, right?
Yes.
Because they're heading towards diabetes.
Absolutely. Big
So
problem.
what can we do?
Well, today I thought we could talk about some of my favorite fall foods that I like to add in at this time of year that also help with our healthy blood sugars. These are what I would call functional foods. So if you go home and eat 20 pounds of them, that doesn't make it a medicine. Please don't do that. You just want to integrate these into your lifestyle. So my first one is sweet potatoes, which are one of the most nutrient-dense forms of produce there are. Ask me where I learned that.
Yeah, where did you learn that?
From Michael Marks
Yes, yes.
Which goes to show
Number
you,
one.
yeah, you can't learn everything at medical school. You have to learn some things by watching what's in season. So, sweet potato has fiber in it, which helps slow those blood glucose spikes. And one study did show that people eating a quarter cup of this a day had a modest reduction in their diabetes marker hemoglobin A1C. So that's sweet
One
potato.
thing about sweet potatoes that most people don't realize, they can eat this naked.
Yes.
They don't have to put anything on it.
Oh yeah, delicious
You
that
don't
way.
need to put it, not like a potato. You got to put lots of butter and sour
Yes.
cream and everything else.
Yes.
A sweet potato is so sweet just by itself, you don't need to put anything on it.
But if you are going to put something on it, cinnamon.
Okay.
Yes, so cinnamon has, we believe, a chemical in it that kind of mimics insulin that gets blood sugar into the cells.
Interesting.
Yes, and people will like this. It also acts on some of the same targets as the drug Ozempic. So it's commonly used as a supplement to help lower blood sugar. So.
And cheaper than Ozempic.
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Yes. And then one of my third favorite things to do at the holidays is apple cider vinegar. It's easy, it's cheap, it helps with digestion, and it also helps with fat burning. So you want to take a tablespoon of it and you put it in an ounce of water before, I say all of your meals, but you could also do it just before a really sugary meal. And then at the holidays, I put it in sparkling water because it just
Oh,
it
so I got
feels
some
fancier.
sparkling water
Yeah,
for
I
you.
do this at Thanksgiving. I'll always drink this before my Thanksgiving meal. And then you just drink that. It's going to give you a little pucker, but it's also going to help your glucose get into your muscles, so it has a job. It's lower after the meal as well, and it's going to slow the transit of food through your intestines so you don't get as fast of a glucose spike.
Where can we learn more about this, Dr. Chelsea?
My website, chelseazarkon.com.
Let me say that again.
My website, chelseazarkon.com.
All right, I want to make sure everybody knows that. That is so cool. Just drink a little bit of this a couple times a day.
I want to see your face when you take a drink of that.
Well, you said I'm going to pucker up.
Yeah.
So I will definitely pucker up.
Yeah, you can feel it lowering your blood glucose.
But look, if it's good for me, why not?
Yeah, it's very simple, and I feel a lot better when I drink that before something sweeter.
Little sparkling water. My
Yeah.
beautiful wife, Julie, she loves doing this all the time as well.
Yeah.
Dr. Chelsea, thanks for making a house call with us today. And coming up, I've got a wonderful recipe just for you. Who doesn't love a beautiful apple pie for the holiday time? Oh my goodness, one of my favorite. In fact, my son came down from Oregon to visit and he said, can we go to Apple Hill? Can we get an apple pie? Who doesn't love an apple pie? So I thought for the holidays, we might do something fun, create an appetizer that has no apples in it, but tastes exactly like apple pie. What does it start with? It starts with some beautiful honey. We're going to take that honey, we're going to put some ground cinnamon in there. How much cinnamon? As much as you want. I just fill the top. Fill the top so I can't see the honey, I just see the cinnamon. Then we're going to take our fork and we're just going to mix that around just like so, just like that. Set that to the side. Now we need some crackers. So we've got these little crackers. You don't want a flavored cracker. You want a cracker that has like just a cracker. Nice fancy cracker. And we're going to put some cream cheese, some whipped cream cheese onto the cracker because you have to have something for the mango to go on top of, right? So we just put some cream cheese on top of these little mangoes or on top of these little crackers. So now we're going to take our mango. This mango is called an Atafel mango. It starts out green, it turns yellow as it ripens. When it ripens, it's ready to go. Oh, what did I do with my knife? Okay, here we go. So we're going to take this, oh, by the way, when you're picking out your mango, I want you to see something. See that little stem right up on top? If that stem is sitting down in a little valley, that is a mature mango. That mango will ripen. If it's sitting up on a hill, that mango will never ripen. It was picked prematurely. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your knife. This is the center. There's a little wafer seed on the inside. So find the center and then go off just a little bit. And we're going to cut off what's called the cheek. This mango has two cheeks, one on each side. Now you're going to take this and be very careful when you do this. Take the tip of your knife and you're just going to put you're just going to cut right into that mango. Be careful not to go into the skin or else you go right through the skin and into your hand, and you don't want to do this. Now you're going to do a cross cut, just like so. This cross cut in diamond shape, and this is very typical how the Aztec Indians actually would cut their mangoes as well, into this beautiful diamond cut shape. This is what I call a confetti cut. Now, look at all that beautiful mango, just like so. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to cut off a few of those mangoes, just like that, and we're going to put them right on top of our little crackers with the cheese on it, right? Just like so, right on top. Let me get a little bit more on there. Oh my goodness. Oh, it smells so good. Mangoes are called the peach of the tropics because they're just so juicy and so good. So now we got the mangoes on top. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that wonderful mixture that we had. Put your fork in that mixture and mix it around and then just drizzle it right on top. Drizzle it right on top. And your guests, once they eat this, are going to say, hey, that tastes exactly like apple pie. Is there apples in it? Well, no, there's no apples in it. And this is a cool little appetizer that you can eat. And I like these little crackers. You can just put the whole thing in your mouth. Hey, next month, stay with us. Man, we're going to have so much fun next month in December. So please don't go away. And tell your friends all about What's in Season with Michael Marks. We enjoy having you with us. So, hey, here's to you. And can I be the first to tell you Happy Thanksgiving?